what a victory!
It's finally here. Formula One in 2024.
The wait is over in Bahrain, and we are just hearing that the starting grid is on the look for a new driver. Who will it be?
I'm having trouble trying to sleep. I'm counting sheep.
And radio is good.
Here we go.
The Grand Prix is underway.
What a dramatic start. Can you believe it?
Lights feel like they're gonna bleed.
Yes!
Spun out of my
Oh, he's lost it.
I'm out, guys. That's it.
The pit lane's going to be alive now. They're all in.
On my own, here we go. Mindset on an overdrive. On my own, here we go.
It's not every day that we get to see such incredible wheel-to-wheel racing.
Out of the final corner. And here's our winner today.
Can you beat me?
What a race. Thank you very much for that. Thank you to the fans.
Welcome in, everybody, to round 2 of Prowler Racing League Season 5. Tonight, we are under the lights of the Marina Bay Circuit. This track, originally on the Grand Prix circuit in 2008. This track has 4.94 kilometers of distance with 4 DRS zones. Count that, 4 zones where the drivers will be able to use that rear wing to try to help overtake to the tight and twisting turns of the Marina Bay Street Circuit. We got 19 corners. Let's see how our drivers compete tonight. Here we are in the lobby, ready to rock and roll. And before we get started, let's take a look at tonight's calendar just so you can see what we're looking at going forward. Tonight is our first sprint of the night, or the season, I should say, in Singapore. Next up will be Netherlands, and then Saudi Arabia, USA, Qatar, Italy, Bahrain, United Kingdom, and then finally Japan. But tonight, as we said, we are in Singapore for a sprint, and we are now into round 2, which means we do have some standings for everyone. Here are your driver standings. Vanilla getting the win last week due to Zoluxi and BRT Yuki getting penalties, which promoted him up to first with 25 points. Again, we are giving points down to 12th position this season to allow drivers to get more points. Now with these driver standings, this then creates our team standings. Red Bull leading us away with 27 points to Mercedes 21, Alpine 18, Aston and McLaren both at 16, Williams and Saubers both at 14, Ferrari 10, Haas with a single point with the mechanical failures that Dynamic had at the end, stuck in 7th gear for the final lap of the race in Coda. And then 10th is our Racing Bulls. That is our team standings for the season so far. We only have 10 rounds this season, so every point matters to our drivers on tracks. Right now, we're getting loaded in. We have a pretty full lobby tonight. Not a full grid, but pretty close. We'll go with that. Here we are in the pit lane, just waiting for a few cars to get out onto track. Let's get to the track and update on our graphics here to make sure we got everything right. Looks like we got one person who does not have their right, so now we're just waiting for the first car to come out. And actually, while we're waiting, let's take a look at the weather forecast for this qualifying session. It is overcast to clear, so no threat of rain. Should be good to go for tonight's qualifying. Looks like the first car out is going to be a Ferrari. Take a look here. Let's head out to the first car out on track. Let's get to a Ferrari. It is player, which we know is Pixelin. He just got back from a karting event, so he will be setting our first time for us tonight. Apologies, I'll turn down the music a little bit so you can actually hear the game. Here, Pixeling coming down one of our DRS zones again. I apologize, there's only 3 in the game for the 2025 season in real life F1. There's actually going to be 4. This is going to be another one of the DRS zones right here, but for the game, we're going off of 2024, and there's only 3 DRS zones here. So we are going to be on board here with our first car across the line. It's going to be Pixelin. We'll set our first timed lap for the evening. Invalidates right off the rip. So let's head to let's go with we'll go with BRT Yuki. Yuki actually switched teams after first round. He was with Alpine and then was able to negotiate a transfer to get him to the Aston Martin team to help that team score consistent points. BRT crossed the line, starting his timed lap, heading down to the tricky turn 1, 2, and 3 chicane to the very sharp turn 3. Around turn 5, getting into the first DRS zone. The wing is open on the back. He is flying down to the sharp left hand, turn 7. Turn 8. Looking pretty planted so far. No real issues we can see. Still keeping it within track limits. Coming up to going over the bridge to the very tricky left-hand hairpin of 13. Hayden setting the first time, but on the intermediates as usual. Draco with a 129.638 on the mediums. BRT Yuki still flying along. BRT Yuki coming around turn 18 and 19. Across the line, sets a 126.710 to start us off with the fastest times. Rasha 128.278, one of our new drivers. Now we typically have for our new drivers for their first time out, they cannot qualify during a normal race. Due to this being a sprint weekend, they are allowed to qualify for the sprint and race the sprint. Looks like we got a report of possible rain for the actual race. Before qualifying, we're seeing that we are in the clear. People setting times. Let's go check out. Let's go down to Vanilla. currently on an out lap. But Vanilla, one of our veterans here, corner cuts through the bridge. Luckily, he's only halfway on the lap, so that will not invalidate for his timed lap coming up. So Zaluxy with the 126.823. 823, yes. So we're gonna stay here with Vanilla. We're actually, let's watch his telemetry. His telemetry is always fun to watch as he does his timed lap. You can see how he jams on the brakes. Oops, starts deploying battery right away before the start finish line. Down to turn 1. Quick jab on the brakes. Another quick jab there, not full percentage. Accelerates down to turn number 5. Quick on the brakes, more acceleration out. Through turn 7. Ooh, gets very wide there and invalidates. Unfortunate for Vanilla. The pressure got to him, it looked like. So let's go check out another driver. So we actually have Dynamic yet to set a time. He went out on intermediates earlier just to get the lay of the land. Now out on the softs on his outlet. He's got a while to go, so let's check with another. Actually, the other Red Bull of Corey. Personal best, but he hasn't set a time yet, so he's gonna have a personal best through the sectors anyways. You got yells like, oh, that is a McLaren turned around there. Not sure if that was C9 or if that was Truth. That is C9 because Truth is in the pits right now. Hopefully he didn't damage his wing. He can get back to it. Corey still setting a time. You can see on the mini map there, win purple, but that's only because he hasn't set a time yet. So he's going to be setting the best ever time for himself right there. It's a little bit of a glitch in the game. Typically that should have just been a green sector because he hasn't set a time yet. Coming down to turn 18 and 19, the quick double left-hander. Cross the line, P3 for Corey, 127.329. That is a great lap set for him. Get himself set up. We're down to 3 minutes left in the session. We're more than likely going to have a rash of drivers coming out. Set some times. So far, the only drivers to not set a time is Yes JC and Vanilla and Dynamic. It looks like Vanilla might be out on a time lap now. Go check that out. And he is. Personal best, first 2 sectors. Cross the line. P3 with a 126.919 for Vanilla on the mediums, mind you. Corey's time was also set on the mediums, whereas BRT, Yuki, and Zaluxy both set their times on the softs. So the only 2 drivers left to set a time is going to be Dynamic and Yes JC. It's like Draco right now setting a personal best time. Sector 1. Stay with him as he's coming through. A little bit of traffic up ahead, but I think everyone's going at a pretty decent pace. That shouldn't be an issue. Draco deploying down, personal best again. The second sector barely keeps it in with track limits, but keeps going. A little bit of traffic ahead, but hopefully they will get out of the way. Less than minute and 15 seconds left in the qualifying session. Draco around the double left-hander, 18-19, across the line, P8 with a 1:28.415. Your top three all invalidated their laps. I don't believe they're going to get more time, but Oscar and Corey both have wing damage. Oscar with 100% wing damage, Dynamic also with wing damage. So it looks like the walls have gotten out and bit some of our drivers tonight. Let's head on down to our last driver. Set a time is going to be Yes JC, currently on an outlap. It's going to be a little bit before he gets across the line, so let's just keep an eye on Zoluxi. After invalidating what I'm assuming was the outlap, now setting a lap. Comes down out of the first sector, fastest first sector, purpling it with a 25.908. Heavy braking down into turn 8. Now in turn 9, she's got open road ahead of her. Looks like the nearest car is going to be a Red Bull, but that's further down. She might be able to finish this lap with no problem left to go. Some of our drivers are finishing their laps out. Sasuke up to P1, 1:26.647. He got a purple on that last sector, which saved him because he was yellow, and then he purpled the last one. Zoluxi coming down, purple both first and second sector. Time to beat's a 1:26.647. Cross the line. Zoluxi with a 1:26.123 on the softs. Zoluxi, your pole setter. Next up, we've got Sasuke out on the track. Not doing a personal best time. Does have a full battery, so he has an opportunity to set another lap. Doesn't look like he's pushing. Nope, and he just cut the corner there. He is done for qualifying. Oscar's out. C9 still doing a lap, it looks like. Yes, JC up to P9 with a 1:27.835. With C9 right there ahead of him. So that is going to be your qualifying session for tonight. Zoluxi putting her stamp of domination on the league, a 1:26.123. With her teammate Sasuke, P2, BRT Yuki, P3, Vanilla, P4, Nick, our reserve, P5. So now we're just going to wait for the game to basically finish up. We're just waiting on Sasuke to retire out in the pits. Everybody else has crossed the finish line. So while we're waiting for that to go, let's go back to our intermission screen, and then I'll get our graphic up for the grid. So again, Zoluxi, your pole setter, followed by Sasuke, BRT Yuki, Vanilla Spilla, Nick Flies, Corey, Oscar, Pug Life, Yes JC, Rasha, your top 10. Now our driver's going to be setting up their their tire strategy. Although with the sprint, you don't really have a tire strategy. just because of the fact that it is, it's a sprint. So there's no pit stops. So either you're going to run the whole race on mediums or softs. We shall see. But here is your grid for the sprint. Zoluxi, followed by Sasuke, BRT Yuki with Vanilla. Then Nick with Corey next to him. Oscar with Pug Life. Yes, JC with Rasha on the outside. Hayden next to Pixel and Draco. Then Hair Footy, Boogie, Truth, Dynamic, and Iron Wolf or C9, P18. So right now we're just waiting for the lobby to do their business to get us ready. So while we're waiting, we'll actually head down to trackside and wait for the lights. Our hosts for tonight, checking with the league, make sure everyone is ready to rock and roll. Last thing we want to do is have the session start and somebody's not ready. So again, this is a sprint race first. No pit stops are required. It's a shortened session. So it's going to be a mad dash. And for a sprint, the top 10 score points, whereas in real life, it's the top 8. So for the sprint, top 10 and a single point for fastest lap is up for grabs for the sprint. Lights are up. 3, 4, 5. Lights out. And we are racing here in Singapore for the sprint. Zoluxi gets away very nicely. A little bit of a tussle in the back there, but everyone seems to be still moving along. No yellow flags. We're still racing through down turn 5, down the long straightaway. DRS is not enabled yet. That's going to be on the next lap, I believe. But as we go, I don't know why the game's telling us a race strat here because there is no pit stops. It doesn't matter. But Zoluxi getting a healthy lead on Sasuke so far. Sasuke kind of holding up the rest of the field. Ooh, yellow flag in the back there. Looks like Draco getting some wing damage. Still staying with everybody. Hayden dropping back a little bit there. Not sure if he was involved in that. No damage reported. But Hayden falling back from the rest of the field. 11 laps in the sprint. Let's check to see what the forecast is for this race. Is clear race for the sprint, so no worry about rain. Drivers can just push those mediums as hard as they want. See everyone deploying their batteries as we're tacking down to turn 16 and 17 under the freeway bridge through the double left-hander, 18-19 onto the straightaway. Zoluxi leading us away with the fastest lap so far. Sasuke holding up the field. Going to be getting a healthy scoring of points for Mercedes tonight. Sasuke was actually racing in a few other leagues and races today, so he is very warmed up and knows what needs to be done to make sure that Mercedes scores the most amount of points possible. Take a look back through the field. Oscar, one of our closest drivers right now on the gearbox of Pug. Oscar's doing the best that he can to get ahead. Sasuke retired from the session. Sasuke in the wall in the back there. Tough break for Sasuke. Oh, big contact with a Ferrari into Oscar. That may have been Pixelin, I believe. Very unfortunate for Oscar. Oscar waiting for the field to get past so he can back out safely and not cause more of an issue. Tough break for Oscar. I think that was Pixelin slamming into the back of him there at that hairpin. That is a tough corner to get right. Oscar all to do to get back up to the front, or back up to where he was. Pixelin with 3-second time penalty for corner cuts. Ooh, contact into the wall there. Pixelin kind of all over the place tonight. He was racing karts this weekend, finished on the podium in the IRL karts he was working on. Goes for a big move there, can't get it done. Pug Life retired from the session. I believe that was Pixelin just absolutely just punting Pug Life into the wall. Pixelin with rear wing damage, diffuser damage. He actually might have been punted into Pug. Didn't really get a good camera angle there. Not sure exactly what happened. Tough break for Pug. The Williams driver is now out of the race. Looks like we lost Hare Footy in the Williams, disconnected from the session. Hopefully get him back in soon. So let's take a look at our next closest battle. It's actually pretty much right here with Rasha on Pixelin. Rasha just has to keep within 3 seconds because of that penalty that Pixelin has. Rasha gets past up to P6. Next closest battle is actually Truth and Draco. Truth looking to the outside. Can't get it done. Mind you, some of these corners are very tight on the exits, so you may have enough room to start the overtake. But next thing you know, you're running out of space. Dynamic with a 3-second penalty going wide there. You can see him. But that was Hayden, actually. Hayden getting right up on the gearbox of Truth, coming through to turn 3. So we're on lap 5 of 11 in Singapore for our sprint. As the sun is setting. So we're about halfway through. Let's go check out what our running order is. Zaluxi, your pole setter, still out in front. We'll actually pull up the race story so far to help us out here. As you can see, Zaluxi P1 started the race, still in race. Hey, we got Harefooty back in the race. He's going to retake control of his car. Currently in P8. So, P2, Corey with 3-second penalty. Drivers are racking up the penalties now as the session's going. They have to keep an eye on that. BRT Yuki started third, now in second, getting past Vanilla. Vanilla started fourth, now in third. Corey started sixth, now currently in fourth, getting very close to the corner cut in there again across the bridge to the very tricky hairpin with Nick behind. Started fifth, in fifth. He's breaking even so far for tonight. Rasha, one of our rookies, started 10th, now in sixth. Big moves so far. Actually, this will help. Truth, our big mover, Truth, started 16th, now up to 7th. Then we've got Harefooty, started 14th, all the way up to 8th. Got disconnected, but I believe is now in control of his car, attacking Truth. Then we got Boogie, our reserve, started 15th, now up to 9th. Then we got Dynamic, up 7 positions, started 17th, now in 10th, scoring that last and final point for the sprint. Then we got Oscar down 4 positions, started in 7th, now in 11th. Hayden with the early issue on, dropping far back at the beginning, started 11th, in 12th now. Then we got Yes JC, down 4 positions, started 9th, now in 13th. Then we got Pixlin in the Ferrari, down 2 positions, started 12th, in 14th. Does have 3 seconds of penalties to deal with by the end of the race. Then we got our last running vehicle, C9, up 3 positions, started 18th, now in 15th. Does have 3 seconds of penalties to deal with for the end of the night. So we're back up with Zaluxi. Check to see what the gaps are. We're spreading out pretty good so far. Our closest battle is actually going to be back to Nick on Corey. Less than a second, so he will get DRS heading onto the front straight. Let's see if he can do anything going down to turn number 1. Too far back to make a move there, but gets right on the gearbox of Corey. Heading down to 5. Thinks about a move, doesn't do it there. Knows he's got DRS coming up. Wing wide open. Corey sticking to the racing line. Nick thinking about a move. Doesn't do it there, but contemplates it. It's so close. Going down the turn 7 on the inside there. Pixlin with another warning. Ooh, Corey almost hitting the wall there. Oh, so close going through the chicanes here. Corey getting another warning for a corner cut. Corey does have 3 seconds of penalties, so Nick doesn't need to pass him on track. Oh, Nick into the wall, loses his front wing and tire. Tough break for Nick. Don't know if he just got a little too heavy on the throttle, not sure. See if that does not set a safety car. We continue on. A close battle here, Harefooty and Truth. Tonight's sprint in Singapore is absolutely eating these guys alive. We only have 14 of our 18 cars still running. We have a Ferrari that's slow moving. Ooh, that's an end plate missing there. Air footy now reduced downforce on that front. He's got 33% on the front right wing. You can see the end plate is gone. It's going to be even trickier to defend against Truth, who is on the gearbox. Yuki takes the lead. We have a new leader, Yuki, against the Luxie. We'll head up, check out that tight battle up here. Neither driver getting a penalty, which is different than what happened at Coda. So hopefully they learn their lesson. They're going to try to battle it out to the end here. We're on lap 9 of 11. Double left-hander, 18 and 19 onto the main straight. So Luxie falling back by about half a second. Too far back to make a move down here into turn 1, even with DRS wide open. Going through the chicanes of 2 and 3. Down to 5. We get a DRS zone here. Let's see if Luxie, that DRS wing wide open, attacking against BRT Yuki. Can't get it done to 7. Through the tight turn 11 across the bridge on 12 to the hairpin of 13. Let's see if Luxie makes a move down at the end of this straightaway. Still too far back. BRT able to keep at least 6/10 between the two of them. And in this street circuit, there's not a lot of room to make a move, so Luxie going to be very hard pressed to overtake BRT. Pixlin retired from the race in the pit lane. So we're good there. We got a slight yellow flag on the main straight just because of the car in the pit lane. We're still good to race. BRT with the 3 seconds cuts that corner clear as day from our view. Luxie, all she has to do now is just sit back, keep it within 3 seconds, and she gets the win for tonight. That's a tough break for Yuki. Could not keep it between the white lines. Result, 3-second penalties. That's going to cost him the win for sure. Now it's down to Vanilla to try to catch up, but on the last lap here, 6 seconds back to Luxie, he's not going to be able to close that gap. A yellow flag. Not sure why. Oh, that looks like that might be hair footy. Slowly moving. It's unfortunate because that pushes hair footy out of the points. As top 10 in our sprints score points. So here is your on-track leader, BRT Yuki, finishing out our sprint of 11 laps on the mediums. BRT across the line, but Luxie, your winner, followed by Vanilla P3. The other Red Bull of Corey across the line. Rasha in the Racing Bull P5 on debut. It's going to be a good haul of points. Next up, Truth with Oscar right behind. Truth across the line. P6, Oscar, P7, Boogie, our reserve, P8. Dynamic in the Haas, followed very closely by his teammate. Hayden gets P9, Dynamic P10. Dynamic did have 3 seconds of penalties. Next up across the line is Yes JC in the Ferrari, followed by Hare Footy and our last car on track. C9 finishing out the race. Must have pitted at some point because he's currently on those soft tires. Everyone started the race on the mediums. Except for Yes JC. Yes JC. Oh no, he also started mediums. Cross the line for C9. Your winner for round 2 sprint is Deluxy. Driver of the day for the sprint, Truth, who finished P6 after starting very far back. You can ignore the points on this screen because we use different points in our league, but your winner still stays the same. So Luxy, P1, BRT, Yuki, Vanilla, Corey, Rasha, Truth, Oscar, Boogie, Hayden, Dynamic, your top 10 and your top 10 scoring drivers for the sprint. So now we'll head on over to the intermission screen because now we're going to be transitioning to qualifying for the main Grand Prix in Singapore. It's going to be darker. The lights are going to be brighter. Our 18 drivers looking to attack the streets of Singapore. Now, gotta do a reminder. Ooh. Looks like Sasuke is telling us to rain. Let's head to the track and check what that weather is. So looks like the forecast for qualifying will be light clouds, but they're calling for rain. Looks like one of the first cars out is going to be a kick. So let's get rid of the weather forecast for now. Let's pull out the leaderboard. So I believe the first car out was Draco and the kick. Draco's on the mediums and so is Pixelin. So we'll stay here with Pixelin. Actually, no. We'll give Draco the benefit of the doubt. Let's go with Draco. We don't need to do a track introduction because we literally just got done racing here at the 19 corners of Singapore. 3 DRS zones. Draco across the line. Gonna set our first times for tonight. Does have a McLaren ahead of him. But far enough ahead shouldn't be a problem. With the Ferrari of Pixelin right behind. Pixelin pipping Draco for the first sector. Claren getting out of the way as best as he can for both Draco. Oh, Pixelin looks like he may have ticked the wall there. Didn't validate, so that's good. Draco going across the bridge to the hairpin of 13. Sasuke with the fastest first sector, 26.112. Sasuke is on the softs. Draco, your first car across the line on the mediums. Going to be setting our benchmark time. Of 129.339. Pixelin pips him with 128.940. Let's head down to Sasuke. Purpling both first and second sectors. Pug Life 127.854. Playing the Williams in P1 for the time being. Sasuke around the final corner, across the line, loses a lot of time in that third sector. Only a 132.679. Hare Footy, the other Williams, a 127.735 for P1. We'll head on down to Truth is going to be the next car setting a time. Green first sector for himself as he hasn't set a time yet. Going to keep an eye out for Zeluxi and BRT for when they come out. BRT, fastest first sector. Truth. Coming around to the final corners. Cross line P3, 128.566 for Truth. We'll run on down to BRT. Gotta love how the game controls are. You gotta just jump all over the place. First sector and second sector fastest. 26.028 for unvalidates. Commentator Curse gets him. Invalidates that lap. He's going to have to recharge that battery and try again. Looks like next C9 is setting a personal best time. Not sure why that kick is sitting there. What is Nick doing? He's got wing damage. Massive amount of wing damage. So we got Mercedes off as well. Probably getting out of the way of the Ferrari. So Nick's going to have to come around, get that wing changed out. He better not be retiring on track. If he had his mini-map on, he'd see there's no one there, so he's got time. He's literally driving into the wall. Driving into the fence. Very strange. Let's go with Zeluxi. Coming across the line. P1 with a 126.466. That's our fastest time. Next car that's actually setting a time is going to be dynamic. Get to him in time before he crosses the line. Just barely. Oh! Not sure what happened there. Battery getting deployed. So the problem that Nick had, why his car kept driving into the wall, his wheel actually had some connection issues, which happened to him before, so that explains why the erratic behavior. Dynamic up to P3, 127.696. You can see these drivers really, after having qualifying and the sprint, they've gotten more used to the track, so these guys are putting down much faster times as we go. So next car that's setting a time, let's go down to JC or Vanilla. Who's ahead? JC's ahead. So we'll go JC. Setting a time. Comes back into the pits yet to set a time. All right, so we're going to go with Vanilla. Setting his first lap. Personal best in the first two sectors, not purpling it. So this will at least get him a decent time as he comes across the line. P2, 126.708. I mean, that's only 2/10 off of Zaluxy. So even though it wasn't purpling it, it was still plenty fast to get him a time. Next up, we got Corey going to be setting a time. The other Red Bull. Ooh, that almost looked like he hit the wall. So close. Cross line, Corey P3. 126.789 for the Red Bull. So Zaluxy purpling the middle sector into the pits. Yep. Figured that was going to be an in-lap. Hayden. Personal best, first and second sectors. Hasn't set a time yet. Getting a little bit of the dirty air of Hayden P9. 128.452. BRT Yuki on his outlap purpled the last sector. Let's keep an eye on how he's handling this lap. Actually, let's take a look at what his telemetry says. We haven't done that yet for any of our drivers. Or at least this session. Not full on the brakes. Very smooth on the acceleration through that chicane before the bridge. Ooh, looked like he may have hit the wall there. Personal best in the first sector. 25.970. Invalidates again. Tough break for Yuki. Can't get a lap in. We got 5 minutes left in the qualifying session, so he's got plenty of time to come back into the pits, which he'll do. Maybe put on a set of fresh tires. So, next car, it's on track. Draco? Yep, Draco's going to be second lap. Unfortunately, he's down half of his battery already before getting through the 1-2-3 complex there. He's honestly not deploying a lot of battery, which is a surprise. Let's actually check to see what his battery's doing. He has it set for neutral. That's a surprise. So Draco, with the neutral battery deploy, not setting a blazing lap here. He might just be... Oh, he's like recharging. Look, it's already up to 78%. He's not pushing. But the cars that are pushing are the Ferraris behind. I believe... Yes, JC. Looks like Oscar might be not being able to race tonight. He's having some issues. Personal best through the first, second sector, but he hasn't set a time, so that is to be expected. At this point, he just needs to set a time to get on the board. P4 for Yes GC, a 1:27.029 for the Ferrari. Big Pixelin behind him might be actually on a time lap, or is he on a return lap? Let's scroll down and find out. Is he deploying? Oh yeah, he's on the hot lap. So he's getting a tow from his teammate. Hopefully his teammate understands that, gets out of the way. Does. Yep. So Pixeling goes ahead. Personal best, first sector, 26.613. Our fastest first sector for reference is a 25.893. So just a hair, half a second, more than that. A little slow in the first sector. Let's just leave it at that. But it is personal best for Pixelin. This lap, if he continues to keep it clean, should be able to vault him up a little bit in the standings. BRT finishing his out lap, flying through that third sector again. Pixelin sets a 36.733 in the middle sector. 7/10 off the fastest middle sector, so he is flying. Coming around the final corners here. Let's see what he can do across the line. Oh, gets very sideways there. P11 with 128.323. So let's go down to your on-track winner of the sprint, BRT Yuki. Personal best in the first sector, but he hasn't set a time yet. So we'll get greens on those sectors anyways. But we are coming up to the section where he has invalidated multiple times before. DRS wing wide open. Purple middle sector, 36 even. His first sector is a 25.9, which is only a 10th off of the fastest first sector. BRT looking to steal pole. Cross the line. Pole position 126.169 for BRT Yuki. Upsetting Zaluxy by 2/10. A minute and 25 seconds left in the qualifying session. Zaluxy is out on track right now. I believe she is on an out lap. She is on an out lap. So we'll keep an eye on that. So Vanilla in the pits. I don't believe he will be going out. See, I don't believe he'll have enough time to set a lap time for the final session. So we're just going to keep an eye on everybody's times. The only driver that was up on their time was Pug in the first sector. Zaluxy getting those tires warmed up. She comes through the final straightaway before the end. Hayden and Truth. Personal best in the first sector. Dynamic personal best in the first sector. They will be improving their times, but the driver that we are most interested about here is Zaluxy as she comes around the final corners. The Ferrari spinning out there. Cross the line, she starts her lap. Through the 1, 2, 3 section. turn 5. Very sharp jab on the brakes there. You see in the telemetry. A little bit squirrely on the acceleration. A full throttle all the way through down to turn 7. Purple that first sector, 25.763. Mind you, the fastest lap is a 126.169. Zaluxi's fastest up to this point has been almost 3/10 off of that. Through the hairpin of 13. Not very smooth gate on the accelerator, but she is accelerating very quickly, purpling the middle sector. A little bit of traffic up ahead. They get out of the way. No problems there. Oh! Looked like she made contact with the wall there. Through 18. Cross the lines, Zaluxi, 125.729. Oh, 4/10 faster than BRT Yuki. Hell of a lap from Zaluxi. That was incredible. Went from being behind by 2/10 to being ahead by 4/10 is very impressive. So it looks like that should be everybody. Yep, so we got Zaluxi. So screen's all jacked up. Your pole setter, Zaluxi, followed by BRT Yuki, Vanilla Spilla, Corey. Yes, JC, Sasuke, Nick, Dynamic, Harefooty, and Hayden, your top 10. So while the drivers are waiting, we're going to head back to the intermission screen. Let me get our grid. Looks like we have a few drivers that got disconnected. The Discord is blowing up right now. Let's give us a minute while we get that sorted. And here is your grid for tonight's main Grand Prix here in Singapore. Zaluxi, your pole setter, with BRT Yuki starting right next door, with Vanilla Spilla right behind Zaluxi, Corey next door. Both Red Bulls locking out the second row. JC P5 with Sasuke, the other Mercedes P6. Nick P7, Dynamic P8. Here Footy next to Hayden. Then we got Pug Life next to Boogie with Pixelin, Truth, Draco, C9, Oscar, and Rasha. Now Rasha is P18. That is due to rookie status. Whenever we have a new driver join the league, they have to start at the back of the grid for the main races. So he had to set his setup and retire the car. So we will watch Rasha work his way through the field to score as many points as possible. Mind you, again, top 12 score points here in Prowler Racing League. So it looks like they are forecasting rain for the race. So we will head to trackside. Wait for everyone to start up. We are actually waiting on one of our drivers to load in. They got disconnected. I think it was Pixelin. Yep, Pixelin got disconnected, so we're waiting for him to load up. Not a big deal. It is the internet. Stuff happens. We're not barbarians. We're going to be, oh, you must be here. Beat our chest kind of thing. So, Discord is going boop, 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 boop. Nick's on getting nervous. Okay. Oh, and here we go. 4 lights, 5 lights. Lights out, and away we go. Clean start for Zaluxy, getting out ahead of BRT. Oh, we got a Ferrari back in the back. Oh, a Mercedes in the wall. Now Sasuke is out of the race. Virtual safety cars deployed. Let's go neutralize the field. Rasha also retired. Looks like Rasha retired on track. His dot's still there unless he was crashed out. 60%. So we are in full safety car. We didn't even get a full lap in for tonight's race. Looks like we got Sasuke 100% damage. Rasha 20 to 60% damage. Retired out on track. We'll have to double check that one. Then we got Oscar 6 and 73%. Oh, C9 getting some wing damage here in under safety car. Draco 60%. C9. Oh, Nick also 74% damage on his wing. Looks like a little bit of discussion happening in the Discord about what actually happened. So race strategy for today is medium to hard, which is most likely what everyone's going to do, or reverse of that, hard to medium. With this safety car early on, it'd be interesting to see if anybody actually pits unless they need to for like wing damage. For example, C9? Yeah, C9's got wing damage. So C9's coming in. Draco stayed out. Tough break for Sasuke, staying up until 2 a.m. Gets crashed out in the first couple corners. Tough break. So, looks like Draco in the Sauber says 60% wing damage. Am I reading that right? Let me look here. Yep, that says 60%. So we are on lap 2 of 31 here in Shanghai, or sorry, Singapore, not Shanghai, Singapore. And we've already lost 2 drivers. Rasha, one of our newest drivers, he was looking to move his way up the field, but couldn't make it out of the first couple lap, or first lap crashes. So let's head up to the front. Safety car should be in relatively soon. C9 getting a penalty for speeding in the pits. So looks like we got a few drivers that have more damage on their wings during this safety car. Sorry for the lack of speaking. We were dealing with a discussion that was happening in the Discord that we tried to avoid happen during racing so we can actually focus on the race, but another penalty there. Safety car is in this lap. Go with BRT to see how he handles chasing down Luxy. Zalexi back in the field up as best she can. PRT right on the gearbox of Zalexi, not letting her get away. Yuki up into the lead. Getting past Zalexi there at turn 7. Zalexi going to do her best to get that back. Oscar with a 10-second penalty. We're under safety car again. Apologies, we missed what's going on. Truth with corner cutting there. All right, so let's go through real quick. Intermediates. It did start raining. Look at the screen there. We can see rain. I apologize for missing quite a bit of the race here, dealing with the Discord issue we had. So with the rain coming down was causing drivers to get slippery out there. So people are coming in to pit to go to the intermediates. Thankfully, nobody crashed out, it looks like. We got a few cars with wing damage. We got Oscar with 100%, Boogie, Draco. So they were making damage. We'll see. So your leader right now is actually the McLaren, or Corey, on the hards. He's more than likely going to pit for intermediates as the rain's coming down. Speaking of the weather forecast, oh yeah, overcast to light rain to a storm 15 minutes into the session, so that should be interesting to see. So let's take a look here at what the C9 has a drive-through, but he can't serve that until after the safety car is done. Let's check to see what the game loss is. We had a big shuffle so far. So Corey up 3 position. Truth and C9, which they may have to double stack, but if C9 stays out until the safety car is done so he can serve his drive-through and then change, no, because the drive-through is separate. All right, so Corey's coming into the pits and C9 also comes into the pits. Corey disconnect. Whoa, disqualified. What the just happened there? Did Corey overtake the safety car? Is that what happened? And we just had guys just slam into the back of each other because they're not paying attention. What is going on here? Aiden with wing damage. Bug Life with 10 seconds for ignoring yellow flags. Okay, so while that chaos happened, let's go check out, see where our race story is so far. We got Truth, the only car still out on dry tires. Safety car is in this lap, so we're actually not going to go through the race story real quick. So Truth at massive disadvantage against BRT. So we'll keep an eye on BRT. Truth slowing up the field, building that gap to the safety car. Everyone behind Truth is on intermediate tires. Truth stays out. Green flag trying to put the power down, getting very loose. Everyone else in the back of the field can't overtake until the start-finish line. BRT doing the smart thing of hanging back a little bit just in case something happens with Truth. Goes to the inside. So Luxy going for the move in the middle as well, but all the intermediate drivers single file behind BRT. One of the Ferraris getting behind Truth there. Probably not the best idea. But your leader right now is BRT Yuki. So we got BRT Yuki, followed by Zaluxy. And we got Vanilla with Nick directly behind. Everyone getting slippery. Truth just falling down the order. Truth with a 3-second penalty. Fighting those tires. Looks like Hayden falling way back there. Not sure what happened with him. DRS enabled. So the game is saying it is dry enough, so maybe Truth did the right thing by staying out. They both come to the pits. C9 to serve the drive-through, but Truth to get onto another set of tires. Why did the game say DRS was available? Very interesting. But anyways, back up to the front. Drivers still cutting corners. Pixelin and Truth, the only drivers with penalties so far. BRT Yuki leading us away with Zaluxy half a second behind with Vanilla. Zaluxy getting very close there. Unless that was the disabled. Maybe I read the message wrong. Nope, that was DRS enabled. That rear wing is open. So apparently the game thinks the track is dry enough to enable DRS. So Luxy right on the gearbox of BRT. All while Vanilla hanging out back there defending against Nick. So Luxy looks for the move, doesn't do it there. Zaluxy getting a warning there for a corner cut. Nick as well. Yes, JC as well. Everyone getting warnings. Vanilla outside the DRS range of Zaluxy. Zaluxy going for the lead. Can't make it stick. BRT taking the lead back from Zaluxy, which puts Zaluxy on the outside of turn 8. Safety car is deployed. We've got, looks like that might be Pug. Nope. Airfooty. Yep, may have been, oh yeah. Airfooty with 100% front wing damage. So he's going to be finishing out this car, or this safety car, with no front wing. Slowing down for the Delta. Dynamic. Getting past. Oh, that was very sporting of Harefooty. Slow his car down enough to force the game to tell Dynamic to get ahead of him so that he wouldn't hold up Dynamic for the entire lap. That is great sportsmanship. We love to see that. Tough break for Hare Footy, busting that front wing, which after pitting to get that replaced is going to set him back massively. Pixelin also has a 100% on the right front. Yep. That end plate's gone for Pixelin. Not sure why some of these drivers are driving very aggressively under safety car conditions where they're going to have to slow down for the deltas or avoid making contact with others. So far, your winner of pit stops is actually going to be, I think, Nick. Yeah, 5 pit stops for Nick so far. Soft, hard, soft, medium, intermediate. Intermediate. Okay, so under this safety car, we can actually go through and check race story for everyone. So let's head up back up to the front. Nobody's switching off of the intermediates, even though the game did enable DRS. But Yuki started second, up to first, battling hard with Zaluxi first, now into second. Then we got Vanilla breaking even, starting third in third. Oscar, unfortunately, has a drive-through he's going to serve after this safety car, so he's going to be dropping back extensively once we get under green flag. But he started 17th all the way up to 4th. Great race so far, but it's going to become all undone with that drive-through he has to serve. And next we got Pug, started 11th up to 5th. Draco, 15th up to 6th. So far, this is the there. So Oscar was the biggest mover, followed by Draco. Then Nick breaking even. A couple guys coming to the pits there. That is Boogie and Dynamic. So Nick started 7th, breaking even in 7th. Then, yes, JC started 5th, dropped down to 8th. Leading up 1 spot from 10th to 9th. Truth, 14th to 10th. We got Pixelin up 2. Mind you, Truth and Pixelin have 3 seconds each. Boogie breaking even 12th to 12th. Dynamic down 5 positions, 8th to 13th. Hare Footy down 5, 9th to 14th. C9, 16th to 15th. And he is our last running car of the night. So it looks like Hare Footy's catching up to the pack. C9's catching up also. I don't think he's going to make it in time. We shall see. But forecast still calling for storms for the next 15 minutes. We're on lap 13 of 31, Singapore. 3 drivers out so far. 2 of them due to a crash, 1 due to disqualification, which we believe it was something to do with the safety car. Tough break for Corey. And a loss of points for Red Bull because Corey was doing really well. Excellent, has left the session. His Ferrari is currently sitting in 11th. Oh, Oscar's drive-through was due to AI. Oh, that's a tough break. Why we definitely encourage our drivers not to go into AI for more than a few seconds at a time. That is a tough break for Oscar. Ooh. Nick brings up a good point. Zoluxi was commenting about Nick's number of pit stops because he's done 5, I believe. Yeah, was it 5? Yes, 5. And asking about tire wear. And Nick was saying his tire wear was very bad. So let's check what everyone's tire wear is. So far, ranging anywhere from 25% to 18% for our top 6 on their rears. Safety cars in this lap. Keep an eye on that. So everyone's batteries are fully charged. Unfortunately, Oscar's going to have to go past and hit on the next lap or next 3 laps to do the drive-through. We will see. So we're going to stay here with Zoluxi. You can see the rain is coming down. The spray is going strong. DRT back in the field up. Frost. Very late restart there. Ooh, a Ferrari diving into the pits. Everybody bunching up. Nobody passes before start finish, which is good. Big spray heading down to turn 1. Zoluxi losing out to Vanilla. Yellow flag. Looks like we got some contact in the back there. Zoluxi with wing damage, 33%. She's getting swamped right now. Oscar getting past. So we head down to turn 7. Your leader, ERT Yuki, followed by Vanilla and Oscar. Safety car deployed once again. And that was Hare Footy out at turn 5. So this is going to, yeah, Oscar's not going to be able to get rid of his drive-through. He's going to wait until after this safety car, and then he'll have 3 laps after that safety car to do a drive-through. Tough break for Oscar. So I believe that is now the third safety car? 3rd or 4th safety car. I believe. Field's getting bunched up here as we're coming around. ERT Yuki really holding everybody back until we get to the safety car. Truth, 10 seconds speeding the pit lane. Tough break for Truth as it's coming through. The rain is coming down so hard right now. discussing within the Discord. I'm pretty sure that was our fourth safety car, third or fourth, but after 4, you don't get any more. They're saying virtual safety cars are possible, but I'm not going to hold my breath, so. All right. So under the safety car, let's go take a look at everybody, how everyone's doing. Let's go check out our. I'm looking for car information. All right, so Yuki is looking good. Vanilla, also good. Oscar, also good. Nick, also good. And Pixelin, massive amount of wing damage. As you can see, 40% on his left front, 53 on his right front. Coming to the pit now to get that changed out. Maybe add a drain plug to the bottom of his car to let some of the water out. Next up, we got Dynamic, 13% on his right front wing. Ooh. Some drivers switching to full wets. So, then we got, next car that's got damage is going to be Truth, who actually has floor damage and side pod damage. 50% floor, 16% side pod. So his car is very compromised. Currently on the wets. Next up, Hug, 20% on his left front wing. Not a whole lot. You can't visually see a whole lot on that one. That's where we're sitting at damage for everybody. So, again, some circuit information on lap 17 of 31 under our possible last safety car of the night. Under full rain. This is definitely full wet conditions. The drivers that switch to full wet are probably going to be doing the best as we restart. "19 corners, drivers riding full throttle about 50% of the time because this is a street circuit." Oh, and safety car is in this lap. Let's see how this does. So we are going to stay. We're going to go with, let's go a little further back. Let's go watch from E4. Let's go with Nick here. Nick is, he's pitted 5 times so far. He's on intermediates. Safety car is coming in. He's going to be hunting down Oscar and Vanilla while defending against Hayden and Dynamic. Safety cars in the pits. They are free to race. Yuki getting a little sideways there. Ooh, Oscar getting really close and not overtaking correctly. Spray is massive. Contact there with the Aston Martin and the Red Bull, while Nick right on the gearbox of Oscar. Oh, big contact there. Oscar. Oh. Nick falling down the order. Oscar getting heavily shunted into the wall. Really had nowhere to go. Tough break for Oscar. Now he's going to have to do that drive-through. And now he has a 3-second penalty. This night is not turning out well for Oscar, and he's got the front wing completely gone. He's going to have to limp that car around back to the front. We got a Ferrari that's dead in the water. Slowly moving. Also, front wing completely gone. These super wet conditions are absolutely just wrecking our drivers so far. This is going to be a race of attrition, I feel. So the race still going up at front. Go check out our drivers up front. Yuki, second and a half ahead of Vanilla. There's the gap you can see as they're coming around turn 18 into 19 onto the main straight. Yuki still on the intermediate. Vanilla also on the intermediate. So Luxy right behind them. Oh, we just got to the Ferrari of Yes JC, our first full wet car. 3 seconds. Looks like Pixelin retired from the session in the pit lane. He's done for the night. Yes, JC on the full wets, hunting Hayden down on the intermediates. JC getting a little squirrely there. Looks for the move on the inside, makes contact with Hayden. Gets past, not very cleanly, but does get past. Now JC is accelerating to get up to Zoluxy, 2.3 seconds away. Next close battle here is going to be Truth and Dynamic. Truth about it. Just under a second behind Dynamic. Oh, and actually the closer battle is actually Pug and Draco. Pug very aggressively behind Draco. Making the move on the outside. Now sets himself up for the inside of turn 16. They're wheel to wheel going through that. Under the freeway, and Pug Life is ahead. P8 heading onto the main straight. Our next closest battle is going to be Boogie and C9. Both drivers on the full wets. C9 getting very bent out of shape back there. The gap grows to a second now. Tough break for C9. Hunting down Boogie. Due to conditions, everyone's spreading out pretty evenly except for up at the front. You've got Zoluxy hunting down her old championship rival of Vanilla. Vanilla currently P2, 1.2 back from BRT Yuki, with Zoluxy 0.6 behind, getting so close. These wet races really showcase skill ability of some of our drivers. You can tell a lot of our drivers, some of them do practice quite a bit for wet races just in case. Well, you can tell sometimes the certain drivers that do not practice in the wet at all. So Luxy on the gearbox of Vanilla down to turn 1, doesn't make a move there. BRT with a warning. Truth speeding in the pit lane again. We'll actually switch to the in-game graphics real quick. Because I'm curious. So, Truth up to 13 seconds. C9. Yes, JC and Oscar at 3. Vanilla with 3 seconds. That is a big mistake for Vanilla. And that is how he was able to capture the win at Coda, was keeping it clean. But now the tables have turned. Zeluxi with no penalty is right behind Vanilla. So now Zeluxi going to be desperate to get past very sideways Vanilla so she can keep hunting down BRT, because BRT also does not have any penalty. So it's going to be a straight up race between the two. Zeluxi going for the move. Gets past Vanilla up to P2. Does look like the rain is less now. The spray is not as bad as it was before. 10 laps left to go. Pug Life with 3-second penalty. Down in P6. The rain really is coming to an end here. Let's check the forecast real quick. Light rain. Switching to overcast in 15 minutes, but we have less than 10 laps left to go. Let's see if A1 makes the move to a dry tide. Oh, yes, JC did. Yes, JC, back in 10th. Switched to the mediums. May have been too early of a move, but we'll see how that pans out for the Ferrari driver. Zeluxi getting so close to BRT. Be interesting to see if any of these top drivers switch to a dry compound, or they're just going to keep battling it out on the intermediates until they wear them out completely or overheat them. And actually, let's take a look at what the tire wear is for our top drivers. Zeluxi with very young tires, 13% to Yuki's 33%. So Yuki's going to be fighting those tires pretty soon. Zeluxi with a warning and a 3-second penalty. Oh, tough break for Zeluxi. Now she has all to do to get past BRT and build a 3-second lap cap to BRT. Oh, contact in through turn 1. Zeluxi falling back to P2 again. Zeluxi with 20% damage on her right front wing. It's going to be lacking some downforce there. Still raining just a little bit. Zeluxi 3/10 back to BRT Yuki. As they head down to 12. Cross the bridge to the hairpin of 13. Putting down the power, trying to get ahead. Looks to the inside, doesn't make the move there. Heavy breaking to the inside with a lockup. Zeluxi gets ahead of BRT just a little bit. BRT tucks in behind Zeluxi as they head into 18 and 19 onto the main straight. I think that might be down to tire wear, as BRT's rears are at 39%. Vanilla's at 45, so both of them are going to be fighting it out pretty good. But now Zeluxi needs to build a gap to both of them behind her. BRT just needs to stay within 3 seconds of Zeluxi, while Vanilla needs to get past BRT and build 3 seconds onto BRT. Gap currently at 1.1. Looks as though the rain has stopped. Oh no, it's still raining a little bit there. So now it's down to, do they cook the tires and try to get away? Build that gap. 1.2. Next closest battle we're going to look at is Boogie back here on the full wets on C9. Right now, these wet weather tires are probably getting absolutely cooked. Boogie's at 31%. C9's now ahead in P8. DRS is enabled. The game feels that it is dry enough now that they can use DRS. We'll see how that pans out. Gap in the front, 2.1 between Yuki and Zaluxi. Go up here to Pug Life on Hayden. That was the alarm to turn on the tickets, but we still got 6 more laps left to go. C9 with 3-second penalty. Pug Life in a hot sandwich right now, chasing down Hayden. Both Pug Life and Hayden have 3-second penalties. So they are racing head to head right now. Pug seems to be a little bit faster than Hayden. He's got much younger tires. Vanilla's tires are cooked, 55% on the rears. We're watching Hayden defending against Pug. Around the hairpin, down the long straightaway. Zaluxi is outside of the penalty window for BRT. Zaluxi is outright leading this race right now. Pug Life staying right on the gearbox. Hayden diving into the pits. Hayden making the call to get off of the intermediate tires, which promotes Pug up to P4. And you got Vanilla and Yuki battling out. Reminder that Vanilla's rears are very, very worn. 66 on his right rear, 55 on his left rear. Vanilla doing everything he can to keep BRT within reach, because BRT does have that, or BRT does not have a penalty, and Vanilla does. Vanilla needs to get past BRT. Ooh, getting a little sideways there. Those tires are getting so cooked. All the while, Zaluxi almost up to 6 seconds now. She is in the clear. We're on lap 26 of 31. More drivers coming in to get off of those intermediate tires. Still don't know if these leaders are going to be pitting at all, just because it is that close. There's only 5 laps left to go. Yuki with 3 seconds. It is a straight up race now between Vanilla and Yuki. Now Vanilla has everything that he needs to do to keep those tires alive, to keep Yuki within reach. Now he just needs to pass him and we're good for Vanilla to get P2. Currently sitting P3, 7/10 back from Yuki, all while your leader, Zaluxi, almost 7 seconds out in front. Boogie retired from the session. Looks like Boogie may have crashed out around turn 11, maybe? But because the safety cars are all exhausted, we are continuing racing. We're now down to 12 running cars out on track. Vanilla, within a half second at one point, cannot reel in Yuki, and that is primarily down to the tire wear. BRT has also smoked his tires, his rears. So Vanilla's worst tire is 76% on the right rear. BRT's worst is 65, also on the right rear. Vanilla, with 4 laps left to go, Vanilla is risking puncture territory at this point. And Vanilla makes the call. No! 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is a tough break for Vanilla. He can get out before Draco makes his way around. Draco's on the main straight right now. I don't think he's going to make it. So Vanilla is going to drop back even further. Tough break, but now we got to keep an eye on Yuki. So Luxie out in front by 8.7. She's in the clear of the penalty to win the race. But Yuki getting closer and closer to puncture territory on these very worn intermediates. So real quick, I'm going to switch over to the game. Yep, so Vanilla up to 13 seconds. C9, 16 seconds. And that is where we're currently at with everyone's penalties. So we'll keep an eye on here. Keep an eye on Yuki. Vanilla quickly closing in on Draco. Vanilla on the softs compared to the very worn intermediates. Vanilla should have no problem getting past. And he does, up to P3 for Vanilla. Now he just has to build a 10-second gap to Draco in the next few laps. Draco stays out, knowing that Vanilla has those penalties. If he can just make those intermediates hold on to the end of the race, just like BRT and Luxie are, Draco may inherit a podium position. Yes, JC with another 3-second penalty, currently up to 9. BRT up to 69% on his rears. Luxie letting the McLarens pass. Then again, she is on the intermediates, whereas both of them are on the softs, so they stay a lap on the lead lap. Oscar with 3-second time penalty. Luxie with the 8.7, 8.8 lead to BRT Yuki. 2 laps left to go. Zaluxie's right rear at 64%. BRT at 78%. They are risking it to the end of the race. These intermediate tires are going to be racing slicks by the time they're done. BRT currently does have the fastest lap, the extra point. Right now, 9 seconds. Hayden right on Draco's backside. Hayden making the move up to P4. Hayden also within 10 seconds of Vanilla. He just need to be within 13. So Hayden looking at a podium here. As he continues on, 9.6 back to Vanilla. Dynamic looking for the next move on the Sauber. Makes the move up to P5. 12. Roughly about 13 seconds back. So he actually might inherit to Vanilla losing out on speeding in the pit lane. So we are on the final lap. Vanilla sets the fastest lap. On the softs, I did forget that he did pit. So Vanilla gets the extra point. Yuki still making his way around. Really at 77 on average for the rear, but the actual 83. 83 on the right rear for BRT. Zeluxy 70% right rear. Currently 9.9, 10 seconds out in front of Yuki. So she just has to make her way back to the start finish line. So Pug Life right on the back of Dynamic. Both on the mediums. Pug looking for the over-under. Let's head back to our leaders. Zeluxy as she comes around turn 18. Turn 19 across the line. Zeluxy, your winner. Vanilla getting past Yuki. The 3-second penalties will negate, but he does have the 10 seconds added on, which drops him down the third. Yuki taking second. Hayden, oh, just outside the 10 seconds to Vanilla. So Vanilla retains P3. Hayden P4, Dynamic P5, Pug Life P6, Draco P7. Yes, JC, our next car in 8th, coming down the long back stretch here. Around the final corners, the fireworks going off in the background. Yes, JC, P8. Oscar, tough break for Oscar. Still on those intermediates. 75%. See if he holds on as he comes across. He's got Truth right behind, about 3 seconds back. Cross the line. Oscar, P9. P10. Truth. C9, the other McLaren. Coming through the final corners here. Last car on track. C9 across the line. P11 with Nick. P12. Your winner tonight, Zeluxy. Driver of the day is Truth. Making the moves again. So there's your winner, Zeluxy. Second place, BRT Yuki. Third, Vanilla. Hayden, P4. Dynamic, P5. Pug Life, P6. All right, so let's get results race. That's the one I want. So there we go. Zeluxy, P1, BRT Yuki, Vanilla, Hayden, Dynamic, Pug, Draco, Yes JC, Oscar, Truth, C9, and Nick, your last running car and last car in the points. We score P12. Get a screenshot of this real quick. Hey, there we go. That's the one I wanted. Okay. So that brings us to the end of tonight's race, or session, or round 2 in Singapore. It was a long one. We had sprint qualifying, sprint race, qualifying, and the race. And that is going to do it tonight for us here at Prowler Racing League. Here's the calendar. Next weekend, we are at Zandvoort for a regular Grand Prix. So join us next week, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you guys at the track. Have a good one.